one is on. Boom. How you doing?
How you do?
Boom. Boom.
All right. Are we ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Is the audience ready?
Yay! That's about as vocal as they're going to get.
You know how much it cost us for this audience to go, yay?
Way too
Anyway.
much. Way too
Sorry,
much.
I have to get my disguise back on.
Well, okay. So Clark Kent is joining us for episode 4. BoozBrothers.tv. Welcome along.
Oh, my internet's up.
BoozBrothers.tv episode... Well, it'll be 8. 4!
Yeah, no, you only throw up one.
Right. I'm Clark Kent, and you all know my favorite co-host, the Qball.
Thank you very much, my friend. Thanks for joining us again, folks. We are back at the Hacienda. For some bizarre reason, I've ended up behind the bar tonight.
But do you know why?
It's my turn.
Well, apart from that, I'm feeling quite super.
I just leave myself open for these things all the time, don't I?
That's what
It's
she
terrible.
said. Anyway,
It is. It is. It really
episode
is.
4, mate. Can you believe it? We made it to 4.
We have. We
You know,
made it to 4.
maybe in about 14 more episodes we'll lose our virginity.
Speak for yourself, son.
I'm just saying, be responsible. Wait till you're 18.
Yes.
Anyway.
Wait till you're 18. Drink responsibly.
Yes.
Blah blah blah. We keep
Yes.
covering this, but okay.
Anyway,
Part of the reason I think why we are sort of on the subject of virgins is, for a change, we actually have a virgin bottle this evening. Well, I'll admit I've already taken the little plastic bit off the top to make the process this evening a little quicker.
and please remember, if it's not on, it's not on.
That's right. You know, it's important to wrap it in plastic,
Yes.
or latex,
Yes.
if you will.
A little saran wrap or, plastic wrap, lackey band, and whiskey
Look.
with a KY.
At a pinch, a thrifty bag or something, whatever suits your needs.
Yes. Anyway, moving right along.
But on this,
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Last episode, we discussed the single malts and the differences in different type of whiskies, and we sort of started to encroach on bourbons. So,
No, don't.
yes,
A bourbon?
I have a bourbon, but this is something extra special. It is a limited release from Wild Turkey called Wild Turkey Forgiven.
Wild turkey forgiven.
Because to err is human, to be forgiven is divine.
Indeed.
It's because of a bit of a story behind the bottle itself, Let's face it, in the whiskey business, mistakes don't happen very often. It's a very meticulous process, as we discussed last time. There is a science to it. You can study it for years and years and still not be that good. Hence why there's some whiskies that aren't as good as others.
Right.
Theoretically.
Theoretically.
Could just be shortcuts. But as with anything involving humans, the occasional error takes place. That is the official story behind the Wild Turkey Forgiven, according to Wild Turkey themselves. It wasn't created by master distillers Jimmy and Eddie Russell, who, for your information, are the only father and son master distiller team in history, I believe, but certainly in today's industry.
Wow.
So there you go. It was actually workers in the distillery themselves that accidentally vatted together a high-proof 4-year-old rye whiskey with casks of your standard 6-year-old Wild Turkey bourbon. Eddie Russell himself said in a news release that the final blend of 78% bourbon and 22% rye turned out to be a good combination, much to the distillery team's relief. Yes, I've got notes again, okay.
But we don't want to get it wrong, that's why.
That's
Because
right.
we care about you and make sure we get the right facts to all of you out there who joined us on BoozBrothers.tv. That's why.
That's why.
Not that he
Absolutely.
doesn't know it, it just wants to make sure it's accurate.
Exactly. So, Forgiven highlights the best of both worlds to create a one-of-a-kind taste that will appeal to both bourbon and rye aficionados. Eddie said he was mad when he first discovered the mistake, but once he tasted it, all was forgiven. Yes, absolutely. So they produced around 38,000 bottles. So when you think about it, worldwide, 38,000 is not a lot. Here in Australia, there is a drinking population of somewhere in the vicinity of, I think, 5.5 million people.
Wow.
So even in Australia, if they just brought it in here, 38,000 bottles would not go very far.
Well, you know what? It would go one bottle for every person in Geraldton, the city of Greater Geraldton, where we happen to be, because there's about 38,000 people in our city here. So,
mind you, because I'd be the one unpacking it, we'd probably get 2 each.
yes.
So someone else would
anyone
miss out.
under 18, you have to disqualify them.
But not everyone likes bourbon.
No, true.
Let's face it.
Did you know that what barrel type was this made in?
I
I want a snappy answer.
It'd be oak barrels.
No, I want a snappy answer.
A snappy answer.
Yes.
But turtle oak?
No, not a snapping turtle.
Get it?
What a crock.
What a crock?
Yes.
Crocodile oak?
It is actually alligator charred.
Alligator
What do
charred
they
oak.
burn some freaking alligators?
So we're going to just chuck a crocodile in the barrel, set the bugger on fire.
Look at this.
It's absolutely terrible.
Who
but,
is the idiot who actually went up to the alligator? Yo, dude, come here for a minute. I'd like a wild turkey forgiven and make it snappy.
Absolutely. But on tis. All right. So as I said, I have already taken the little plastic seal off the top. That was quite loud.
Yes.
But a stunning looking little bottle. Quite a simple label. Batch number 302.
302.
Which is a 4.9 litre?
4.9 litre? Not in a bottle, we're talking like engine capacity.
4.9 litre for all you Ford aficionados.
Yes.
Oh,
May I smell your
would you care to sniff my plug?
I don't know where it's been.
As opposed to, it's been in the bottle
Oh, sorry.
for a little while.
It is a
that
bottle
smells
plug.
quite stunning. I think this one could possibly deserve a generous dram.
Okay, and now would this one be with ice? Or it's so fine?
I think we should try it as it is, and then of course, if you find it's a little unpalatable for yourself, we could add a dash of water
As a
or a cube of ice or two.
non-bourbon man myself, traditionally, yes, just a little.
Dab behind the ears makes myself irresistible to bogan chicks called Shazza. So I think we're going to leave that cork out because I can see that we're going to want to have more than one of these.
It's not a crocodile. It's an alligator barrel.
It's an alligator barrel. So, excuse me for a moment while I indulge myself here. It actually, sometimes you can smell the harshness. It smells quite soft. I think there's a little...
Like my nose then.
There's definitely some sweetness on the nose, but we'll see how we go. Obviously, as I'm doing this more, my palate is becoming more refined and my practices are becoming more refined. I really don't want to sound like a pretentious twat when I do this, and I'm sorry if I do, okay? Look, I do enjoy wine as well, and unfortunately you do turn into a little bit of a wine snob with
didn't
practice.
We go through like wine snobs in
Snobs.
episode 1? I'm sure.
We did, and I try not to, but sometimes it comes out of me, and I'm sorry.
Only because of today's episode, you're forgiven.
I am forgiven, and I appreciate it. So that, on that note, my friend, and to you out there, we say cheers.
Clink. Cheers, my friend.
And don't forget, always look the cheerser in the eyes when cheersing.
Yes.
As
the
we
cheersy or the cheersor, both of you are responsible in the cheersing process to look in the eyes.
Well, at least it's cheers, not cheese.
Yes, true. Cheers is a two-way street. And must make sure you have a sip too.
That is fantastic.
Well, you know what?
Absolutely brilliant.
As a non-bourbon man, I'm impressed because I normally loathe bourbon.
Well, see, this is the thing. I mean, it's like with people that say that they don't like whiskey or they're bourbon drinkers and they say they don't like Scotch. I say that you're yet to actually try the right one, because I believe that within any type of spirit, you're going to find something that really works with your palate, and you're going to find it absolutely stunning. I'm quite enjoying that. There is a lot of warmth in that. So perhaps we should add a cube.
Yeah, because it is, the bottle is warm.
We can experiment. We've tried it neat, which is not a bad thing to do. And then obviously you can experiment with different ways of enjoying your whiskies, whether it's bourbon, Scotch, whatever. Irish whiskies. We'll get to them in another episode. Don't you worry about that, because I love Irish whiskey.
Well, why to be sure?
Oh, to be sure, to be sure. That's why you have to have 2 bottles. Just to be sure.
To be sure.
So I'm going to dig out some ice.
So yeah, so it says in here on the container that it came in, because it married the very best qualities of our robust rye. This is actually why I brought my Clark. I got to go back into Clark Kent mode.
So you can actually read what's on the label.
Well,
1 lump or 2, Vicar?
Give me 2, please. Yeah, so because it married the very best qualities of our robust rye whiskey and a fine bourbon, vanilla oaky taste, pointing perfectly towards a cinnamon, clove, and pepper finish.
That'd be that light sweetness that you get on the nose.
And aged, of course, in our number 4 alligator charred barrels. So they burnt these alligators, rubbed them inside the barrel,
and then stuck them in a rickhouse.
Yeah, I don't know if I wanted that job. I'm not sure if rubbing the barrels with these burnt alligators would be the thing to do.
But see, you'd be okay, because being burnt...
Something we'd never leave the chance. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
The alligators would not be capable of biting you if that was the case. If you were the guy that had to go and catch the alligators and bring them in, someone else can do that job. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So there we go. After a few moments on the ice, give it a bit of a swirl.
Let's have a swirl.
See, with that drop in temperature, there's a bit more softness there. The sweetness is not necessarily there as much. Now that is softening up really, really nicely. So,
actually, I only put the glasses on because I wanted to feel like the more intellectual one of the two of us. Because it's obvious I'm not going to be, so I just at least if I could look the part.
Well, see, this is the beautiful part of our friendship over the past few years. Is
I know my place.
You know, I'm slowly educating this and does the technical stuff.
Yeah, that's why we swapped seats.
I mean, we're not actually paying this videographer, are we?
No, God no. The radio's working
he's
now.
never bloody here.
Yes. Yeah, here's cheers to the videographer. Wherever he may
be. Cheers.
Cheers.
I can't help dropping into your accent sometimes, and I know I don't do it very well, so I apologise for that.
I didn't even notice.
I've actually gotten myself into a bit of trouble over the years with, if I spend a lot of time with someone who has an accent, I occasionally start to mimic said accent. And I've actually had people think that I was, taking the piss. But that's not the case. I actually like to think that it's something of a compliment, that if you spend enough time around someone, you start to mimic certain characteristics of their personality, shall we say.
Absolutely. By jingle about Crocky, I'll think you're on to something.
I could be, but I'm still not passionate about dad jokes by any means.
Yeah, so you can pick up their accent, but just not their shitty sense of humour.
Well, I never said you had a shitty sense of humour, mate.
Well, not yet.
Not yet.
Not as many words, per se.
Not yet. So, there we go. Even though, I think we actually forgot to do it last time, I think we need to write ourselves a reminder for it somewhere and stick it up, maybe stick it up on the wall.
Yep.
That we need to actually rate these whiskies ourselves.
Oh, yeah, episode 3, we didn't even do the rating, did we?
We forgot to do the rating last week
So,
on the Johnny Walker Green. We do apologise if there's anyone from Johnny Walker or Diageo.
I'm wondering why we did not rate your thing. So let's just do that quickly.
Because I had to buy the bloody thing myself.
Let's quickly rate the Johnny. So for those of you who watched episode 3 and are wondering and been waiting, you've been still sitting there in front of your YouTube thing going, when are these guys going to rate the Johnny Walker Green Label? We're going to do it right now.
Now remember, our rating system is out of 11 because,
Correct.
Spinal Tap, everything goes to 11. That makes it one better than everything else.
That's
that one's to 10. So, yourself, mate, the Johnny Walker Green Label, 15-year-old blended malt, on a scale of 1 to 11, where do you put that one?
I'm going to go a 9.36.
See, and this is why I like him, because the Johnny Walker Green is one of my favourite whiskies of all time. It is quite possibly the best out of the Johnny Walker range, in my opinion, because it is such fantastic value for money.
Yes.
That's something that I take into account, which I really shouldn't.
We covered that last episode.
But I mean...
But it is, for me, because I'm from episode 2, I'm a dimple man.
You are.
All right.
You are. But you're learning.
But I'm learning, and I've had the black and the double black, and and I don't mind them, but the green, oh my god. So, in the grand scheme of things, we're now going to be focusing on this camera for the rest of this
the battery's
episode.
gone on the other cameras.
So yes.
So we're going to have to focus
So
on
as
this.
you're
My
watching
score
this,
on the Johnny Walker Green.
We're going to get his thing, but understand we're going to spend the rest of the time looking at you guys over here because that camera just died.
So, personal thought, Johnny Walker, 15-year-old blended malt. As I said, great, fantastic value for money Scotch whiskey. I've got to give it about a 10.3 out of 11.
10.3.
As I said, the big part of that is the value for money that you get. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've had much, much better whiskies, but in the sub $100 bracket, that green label is an absolute winner for me. So that's a very, very good one.
Okay, so that's a 19.66 out of a possible 22, which gives it an average rating. I'm going for it. 9.83.
See, his brain's working better than mine right now. Because, in case you haven't realised, we are actually filming at night, and I've been at work all day.
Yes.
So.
Some of us have been lazing around all day doing bugger all. Some of us have actually been working.
It's the joys of liquor stores,
Yes.
Subject to your licensing conditions.
Yes.
It's a 363-day-a-year business.
Right. So, and also since I'm a mathematical genius.
Now, just on that quick subject, though, Easter is rapidly approaching, if it's not here already.
No.
I don't know, because we're recording a little earlier.
Yes.
That's okay.
Yes.
Don't forget, all liquor outlets are closed Good Friday, so if you're wishing to have a drink on your day off, make sure you stock up beforehand because you will not be able to get anything beforehand. And, of course, if you go shopping on the Thursday beforehand and it's pretty busy, please be patient, be kind to your liquor store attendant, or spirit guide, as I like to call them.
The spirit guide. I've been channeling my spirit.
Absolutely. Feel free to tip them, by the way.
Yes.
We don't get paid that well.
Work hard and be good to your mother.
Absolutely.
That's the best tip I have for you.
Shall we continue with the scores on the Forgiven then, mate?
So, yes, the Forgiven. And now, taking into consideration for me that this is a bourbon and I am a Scotch whiskey kind of guy, you might be shocked. You might be shocked by my rating on this.
No. Look, as you said, you're not a bourbon man.
No,
it's okay.
So I'm in a prayer mode because I'm hoping I will be forgiven. Because I've had other bourbons. So should I rate this like it? Okay, I want to get this. Should I be rating it as a bourbon or in my total out of 11? If I was ever to drink anything, how would I rate it?
Well, I think that's what you've got to look at. It's a whiskey scale.
Okay, on the whiskey
it's whiskies
scale.
in general, because bourbon is still whiskey.
Okay, so where does this fit into the whiskey scale and the bourbon? If I was drinking, when we talked about 9.36 for the green label, and I think I gave the Dimple Gold something a little bit just under that.
Such a beautiful colour.
I'm still going to give it, a high 7.87. Hey, look. There's Mrs. Profit.
Look, 7.87 for a man who's not a bourbon drinker, I can respect that.
Yeah, I am very impressed with it because you know me, and as I am, I make no bones about it. You can see our live studio audience milling around in the background. That is Mrs. Profit, by the way. It's 7.87 for me. You know what? I could actually have a few of these. Once again, because like say when we talked about like the mash, the dickel.
Yep.
I just wanted to say dickel again.
I know.
Because I said every 7 I'm going to slip you the dickel. I think he likes it.
I do like the dickel.
Yes.
But I also like this bourbon.
Yes. So, I'm just... I forgot what I was talking about. That's right. Anyway.
Look, okay.
Yeah,
well,
you had me at
my
dickel.
turn then.
You had me
All
at
right.
dickel.
Okay, I'm not as big on bourbons as I am with whiskies in Jag or Scotches, Irish whiskies and stuff. But very, very appreciative of this. I do actually quite like some of the high-end bourbons. If you haven't tried it before, we'll get it on in another episode. I can promise you that because it's one of my favourites. The Russell's Reserve from Wild Turkey is one of my absolute favourites. Comes in about $30 a bottle less than this one. If you can find a bottle of this somewhere, you're probably going to pay about $90 to $100 for it. As I said, was a very limited release, 38,000 bottles worldwide. Limited release stuff aside, I'll be honest, I've had better.
Better than this?
I've had better than this when it comes to bourbons, but I'm still going to give this a good... I'm going to give it a solid 8.6. 8.6 out of 11. but I'll still give it 2 thumbs up because it's a very, very enjoyable one.
16.47, which is an easy 8.235.
Absolutely. Yes. But obviously, as with any beverage, it really depends on your mood. So, like if you're wanting to have a beer, whether you go for a Carlton Dry or a Corona or a Budweiser or anything, it all comes down to personal taste and everything. So if you ever spot this one in a bottle shop, grab it. Add it to your collection, especially if you're a bourbon lover.
Yes, because you know what? In the end of the thing, the grand scheme of things, how exciting is this actual bourbon when it's a wild turkey that took on the alligator barrel?
You can't let it go, can you?
The barrel roll, the death roll.
Mate, it's the Steve Irwin of bourbon. Guaranteed not to barb you in the chest, by the way.
On that note,
cheers.
Cheers, my good man. So
always pays to pause for a moment of reflection.
Absolutely.
And I'm seriously,
And you know
I'm not going to walk away from this in a hurry. I'm going to enjoy the hell out of this.
Peace out to Steve Irwin. What a cool dude he was.
Oh, look, fantastic.
Cotton socks.
If nothing else, I have a world of respect for Steve Irwin because of the fact that he'd go out there into the natural environment, he'd find something incredibly, aggressive, venomous, and just, it'll rip your face off given a chance. So what's he do? Go, oh, look, there's one. Let's get closer.
Yeah. But what did these guys do? They burnt the shit out of the alligator and made it and rubbed it in the barrel. Anyway.
But that's brilliant. I love it. It's great stuff. So, yeah.
And actually, you know what? Very, very, very cool looking bottle, too, by all means. What do you think the bottle plays into someone's purchasing decision? Like the aesthetics of the bottle, the look, the feel. They're not all the same. They're not all shapes, sizes. Like, yes, human beings.
Absolutely. Look, a lot of people are drawn to bottle shapes and labelling.
Yep.
And we're going to sidetrack here, especially when it comes to wines. A lot of people select their wines looking at labels. Companies spend billions every year on marketing, labelling, etc., etc. And obviously with this one, as we've said, they've gone for something quite simple there. But, there's a batch number, which sort of epitomises the whole limited release type of thing.
Absolutely. This was the 302, right?
Batch number 302. Obviously not a big batch, 38,000 bottles, thereabouts. By comparison, for those of you who sort of do dabble in wines a little and have heard of the Penfolds Grange, they produce around 120...
Wine talk.
Really? No,
sorry.
Not 120. About 20,000 dozen. So 20,000 cases, whereas this one, by comparison, only 38,000 bottles. Yeah, all right, wind me up.
Wine police are here. Excuse me, sir. This is the BoozeBrothers.tv show, not the wine guys.
Not the wine guys, whichever wine guys you choose to watch.
Okay. Let you off with a warning this time.
Thank you very much, officer. Cuff me later.
You wish. Anyway,
I know.
So what about moving as a nice segue from wines? You let that wine shit breathe and all that crap.
Yeah.
The corks out. Does that breathe? Does it not breathe? Does it matter if it's out? It's not. It's not
It really doesn't affect it. It really does.
And once you've uncorked the sucker, is there a lifespan on it now that it's been open? We know it ages in the barrel, even the alligator barrel, but
potentially a spirit's not going to go off.
Okay.
Because it's a higher alcohol volume, and alcohol itself is something of a preservative.
Right. So does that mean the more I drink, the longer I'll live because my body will be preserved?
Well, people often say that I do not look my age.
No, it's
and I'm not going to tell you what that is.
Not doing too bad for a 60-year-old man.
Get real. There's almost a 6 in there somewhere.
Anyway, so very good, love it. A bourbon that I actually could appreciate. Thank you so much for introducing us to Forgiven. Speaking of introducing us,
absolutely, I believe you have something that you wanted to bring to the table this evening.
Just a quick thing, because I just wanted to talk about BoozeBrothers.tv. The idea came from, and I want to give him a plug, Gary Vaynerchuk, who actually started WineLibrary.tv. Right? It is somewhere in Queens, New York or something like that. His dad owned a Shoppers Discount bottle shop. and he felt had a passion for wine and things like that. So we started Wine Library TV as one of the very first early adopters of doing video blogging, if you like, on something he was passionate about. And he's written numerous books. And this is the one that I read, Crush It. So Gary V, thanks so much for bringing up Crush It. It was the one that gave me the idea to sit down and talk to my good friend here, Mr. Qball. And we both had a passion for the fine spirits, which he actually introduced me to and was educating me on. And I said, well, why don't we sit down and create a show about that? For shits and giggles, we'll have fun doing it. If you watch it and you have fun, that's awesome. If you don't, we don't give a shit. We're having fun.
Of course we're having fun.
Yeah.
We're drinking.
Yes. So, Crush It. And so anyone who's got a passion in life, just a quick plug, check out Gary Vaynerchuk's books, Crush It. And I've just started reading this one, which is really good about, it's all about building your personal brand and everything. This one's really cool, Jab, Jab, Right Hook. A boxing vernacular being
Bonoxy.
Bonoxy.
That's a sport I like to see.
Yes, yeah. I'm going to bonoxy shit at you. Give you a boxing. And this is his new book that would have already just been released by the time you see this episode. It was released on March 8th, which was #AskGaryV, a culmination of his life's work, I guess. Fantastic. So I just want to give a big shout out to Gary because he's the one who sort of gave me the idea and the inspiration to sit down with my good friend the Qball, and not only the stuff that I do for business and things like that, I do, once again, have this as a passion as well. So, good on you. #AskGaryV. Appreciate it. Well done, buddy. I just wanted to give him a shout out.
So there you go, folks. Indulge your passions, pursue your dreams, and enjoy some damn fine whiskey on the way.
Yes, even if it is a bourbon whiskey.
Cheers.
Cheers again. One more time. Cheers.
Cheers, folks.
And as we like to end every episode, pour me a drink.
Son of a bitch. Give me a drink. One of the night.
I'm
It's creeping me.